And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. We are about to hop in another best ball draft. We have a poodle available. We have the Pomeranian available. We have the big dog available. We have best ball mania available. And the marathon available. We are going to check my slows real quick. I have about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 or 8 slows, and about one more marathon left. We might hop into a couple slow marathons or a fast marathon, depending on how the outlook is for the next draft. But I want to show you the best ball mania that I got into last night. It was a good one. It was a spicy one. I think that one, the Lucky 16, can go pretty far. I got sniped on a couple quarterbacks. I was going off very well in the 6 hole, beginning to really like the 5 and the 6 and 7 hole. I'm getting a couple guys that I do like, which I'm very proud of. The 6th hole, I had Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 6-1, at the 6-2, 6th round, second round, 6 hole, Achane. So I went Hero RB in this one. With Achane, I went DJ Moore, T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins, I'm even sleeping on just a tad bit. He's having amazing camp with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati right now. I do have Terry McLaurin in that T. Higgins range. So the T. Higgins range is a bit harder for me to click. But getting them both on this team and really having Terry McLaurin as your 4th wide receiver, I think I was pretty set at wide receiver. I didn't want to go too deep in the wide receiver room. And that's the key to this, I think, season for me at the end. Just not going 5 or 6 rounds deep without any other players besides wide receiver. You can get locked out, and you don't want to be so heavy on wide receiver when you're starting only about 3 to 4 in a given week. That's why I pulled the trigger on Kenneth Walker. He's having a really good camp in Seattle. I was more on the pass game in Seattle, but hearing that Kenneth Walker is doing real nicely, they got a new center in Seattle. Very good run blocking center. I think it's a 91 overall run blocking, and then pass blocking. He's in like the highest 70s. So that's going to help Gino, but it's going to help Walker quite a bit more. I went Evan Ingram, not my favorite click. I was really looking at James Conner here. I was really looking at Addison here just to get a 5th wide receiver on this team, but I needed a tight end. I didn't think Ferguson was going to come back to me. Didn't think Bowers was going to come back to me, and they both went in front of me. So locking up Evan Ingram, I felt nice about that one. The only thing that I don't like about Evan Ingram, he has a really bad bye week when there's 6 other teams that have the week 12 bye. You can get, besides Evan Ingram, you can get a Kyle Pitts with that week 12 bye, or you can get a Dalton Kincaid with that week 12 bye. The plus for Evan Ingram, he did have 150 targets, I believe, last year, or something around there. 143 targets, 114 receptions, and almost 1,000 yards. He didn't have that many touchdowns. He wasn't quite efficient on those catches, but I think he's going to have the volume in that room if I am wrong about Gabe Davis having a good year, and I'm right about Christian Kirk not having a spectacular year that people think he's should have going in the fourth and fifth round. I think he's gonna have about Christian Kirk 1,000 yards, 1,000 or 1,100 yards, and like 6 touchdowns, which that's in the range of like a Devonte Smith. Which now that I'm thinking about it, kind of scares me. But I think Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson are just deep shot quarterback quarterback QB combo, which means that they're gonna throw deep to like a Gabe Davis. Which is why I'm fading Christian Kirk this year. I don't think entirely it will hurt me, but I think I just like the wide receivers more, even like Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, like I was saying. And then receivers, I think it's just a big tier block. If Kirk were to drop me at the fifth round and Terry were to go off, I think I would have picked them up, but I wasn't too sure. But Evan Ingram's just to get different in that portfolio. I don't think I have a lot of Evan Ingram. 5%. So even that's quite a bit more than I thought I would have had with him. We are on Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks on a team that you have two running backs already is very nice. Jonathan Brooks as your first running back, kind of scary. Doesn't play on quite of a good offense, at least projected to be out from Vegas sports books. And Jonathan Brooks not playing a couple games also is going to quite hurt him a lot. Also, um, he probably will be really well to go. I'm thinking week 8, so in November, then's when we're gonna get a couple games with him. He's gonna have his bye in week 11. Then after that bye is really when we want him. But I can see Jonathan Brooks falling to the 10th or 11th next year in next year's draft because the Panthers aren't supposed to be that good of an offense, and he could have a very slow start, which is why I'm kind of slow, not overweight on his shares, Joe O.N., and that's why he's falling also into, where's he falling at? So I grabbed him at 91. He's about going at 91, 92 ish usually. But 11%, that's about where I want to be with him. I don't have a lot of Adam Thielen, and what if these rookies or these year 2 guys like Minko and Leggett aren't that well, and Deontay Johnson has to pull the weight? I don't think he's a capable wide receiver to pull 150 targets by himself and pull a team like the Panthers to get 9 wins or more. Excuse me. So Adam Thielen is a click that I might start clicking a little bit later, even if you get his volume in the first half of the year. Maybe he's a better 2 and not as much of a 1 like he was supposed to, especially at his age last year. Jaden Daniels, a very nice click, but I think I would rather have had Joe Burrow here at the 9th hole. I got sniped. I had T already. If you have T and Burrow, this guy had taken Josh Allen, which is why he was slipping a bit, but he did decide to double up on Allen and Burrow. You like that, but you don't like that in terms of the bye weeks. And he didn't go any other quarterback after that, so he's taking an L at quarterback week 12. I personally do not like doing that. I like to get my points, especially if you have like a Josh Allen on your team. Um, so I took Jaden. I followed it up with Trevor. I had Evan Ingram. I grabbed Gabe Davis after following that. Just solidified my wide receiver room. I had the four to start. And I grabbed Gabe Davis as the five. I think he can go off this year. Like I was showing you guys my exposures, Gabe Davis is up there in terms of how much I have in terms of his cost. He's very underpriced, and I think he can pay off that value of the 11th round. That's not even a starter. That's not even your backup guy for your three wide receivers. Um, if you like to play the running back flex like I do, Gabe Davis is just my volatility guy in terms of he's going to hit my lineup when he has big weeks. Luke Musgrave is another tight end that I like clicking. Very good by week 10. I like the teams that he plays in weeks 15, 16, 17. I think there's no solidified tight end in that offense and no solidified target number one. So maybe Luke Musgrave has a chance to be that number one or number two if they have not quite of a healthy offense in terms of wide receivers. Um, J.K. Dobbins, I'm smashing lots of Dobbins now that we're having positive feedback. J.K. Dobbins, I'm at 13%. I would like to get that even higher, to be honest, maybe 15%, 15 to 16%. If I'm really hitting a player, I want to hit him hard. Um, and if I'm really fading a player, I want to fade them more or less. Tyler Algier is a player that I'm really fading, but I don't think, now that I really look at it, I want to be fading him. I don't think he's a tier below Bijan Robinson. I think he should be going. I think he can go Algier next year in that Charbonnet, Rico Dowdle, Blake Corum area. I think he should flip Trey Benson, if I'm being quite honest. And I think they're going to run the ball a lot more than we anticipate in Atlanta. I think he could probably go in the 10th round next year and we would be okay with it. If he puts up really good numbers, let's say he has another 600 and something season, Al Jair. Last year he put up almost 700 yards. I think he can do another 700 yard season. I don't think Arthur Smith was wrong about playing Algier a lot. And that's a fade where I'm kind of not liking. I only have a 1% of him, about 2% of Algier, which is very scary. That's probably a click if I don't take Dobbins anymore. I'll shift to Algier. I don't like Gus Edwards. I think I'm pretty good on Jerome Ford, Ezekiel Elliott, that range. Here I like to click Luke Musgrave, Dalton Schultz. If Fryermuth falls, him. There's a lot of different players in this range that I more favor more than not. But I'll start taking conscious efforts to grab Tyler Algier. Josh Downs in this level is really nice, but he can just not be a play throughout the year. And I do have quite a bit of Josh Downs already. I think I have like 20%. Okay, so 16%. I think that's okay with Josh Downs. Mike Williams is the click that I want more in this range. Cole Kmet, kind of, sort of. More competition, but Shane Waldron really used the Seattle tight ends, and so Cole Kmet could probably be used a lot this year. I don't think he has the yard upside he had this last year in the 700 yards, but he could have a couple more touchdowns than we are expecting. Um, I do like Gino clicking Deshaun a bit more if I want rushing upside late. Those are my two late quarterbacks that I take. And then McLaughlin, I have a decent amount of. Khalil Herbert is a share as a click I click quite a bit of later. And then Jalen McMillians, I click him quite a bit, so 12%. That's a decent amount of McMillians. So I can go ahead and start clicking more Tyler Algier for sure. I went Zach Ertz, so I went Dobbins, like I said, Deshaun. For just the rushing upside, I'm more banking on Trevor and Jaden to hit my lineups. Deshaun, I don't like to click as much this year. I'm more afraid of him getting hurt, not playing. I think he's just a check collector, in my opinion. I don't think he loves the game. Um, but if Cleveland is good, it means he is playing out of his mind, which is why I don't want to fade him quite literally a lot. I'll take my 5 to 6% of Deshaun Watson. But like I said, I'm either a fader or I'm all in on a player. I don't want to be in that happy middle. Jalen McMillians, like I said, I like to click him now. You saw my 12% exposure. That's about where I want to be if I'm a low stake holder in a player, Jalen McMillians. Braylon Allen, he's the number 2 right now in that backfield. I think it's a good backfield to be in. Not a lot of target competition. But Corley is another player that I do take in that offense. I have about 9% of him. I did take a lot of Tyler Conklin. I have 15% of him. And then Garrett Wilson, I have about 14% of him. So I'm really in on this Jets team. I think Rodgers can play a really good role. 10% of Rodgers. I think he can really elevate this team, even if they're not a super pass heavy team. I think Rodgers will find a way to win in this offense. But in fantasy, you really want high scores. And so I think the Dolphins clicks are clicks that I need to start clicking earlier and more often, just because they're a team that scores a lot of points. I just don't think the payoff is quite as good as the players that I like more in that round. Those rounds. Um, Zach Ertz. I'm clicking a lot of Benson out, and if I just get a 4% or 6% of Zach Ertz, I think I'm okay with that. If it hurts me, it hurts me. But if it pays off, it pays off well. Nobody's really clicking Ertz. And then I wanted another wide receiver down here. I was good at running back. I was good at quarterback. My last two picks are usually tight end, wide receiver, tight end, or a running back if one falls to me. But I wanted to lock up Allen. I wanted Khalil Herbert. He didn't come back to me. I was fine with Allen here. And then I got Mingo. He's having some buzz, and I liked the click earlier in the season. Mingo as a hedge. I have 8% of Mingo, almost 9, as a hedge against Leggett. If Leggett started to get hurt or something, Mingo could have that deep playability that I think he is capable of in this offense. But that was that draft. I'll say it again. Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Devin Achane, Kenneth Walker, Jonathan Brooks, J.K. Dobbins, Braylon Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, Gabe Davis, Jalen McMillions, and Jonathan Mingo, Evan Ingram, Luke Musgrave, Zach Ertz. We're going to hop into a poodle. That was a BBM. We're going to hop into a poodle and see what we have going here. Grab some water. Poodle, probably one of the only contests I might max. But I might grab another couple marathons and another couple PPMs. And I'll call it a season for best ball. I'm at the 7. If Justin or Jefferson falls to me, I think that'll be nice. As you see in my rankings, CMC is the 1, CeeDee Lamb is the 2, Tyreek Hill is the 3, Justin Jefferson is at the 4. I used to have Chase as the 4. He's not practicing, and I think McCarthy will get in sooner rather than later. Probably by week 6, week 7. And I think he'll be manageable as a quarterback. He's doing very good in the off season, I am hearing. And I just think KOC knows how to get these wide receivers like Jefferson, like Addison open and make them have plays. Amon-Ra, he's there at the 4. Someone with Hill as the 1, CD as the 2. So the 3 will most likely go to CMC, or the 3 will probably get CMC. But this is a wide receiver heavy room already. It really doesn't matter what you do in the first round. I like clicking wide receiver. I think they're a tier ahead of everyone else. I really want Jefferson, not Amon-Ra. Probably get Amon-Ra. Jefferson goes. I haven't grabbed a lot of A.J. Brown. He's put up 1,400 yards in the last 2 seasons. I think this Eagles team can be hot early in the year, or they can get hot later in the year. I don't think they're going to be a super great offense. I don't think Kellen Moore is that great of an offensive coordinator. I think Hurts is just he's just a game manager that has a rushing upside. they're going to run the ball a bit more with Saquon. I think this Eagles team I was fading a lot. I want to see how much Brown I have. 5%, which is not a lot. AJ Brown. Cy Brown and Hurts with Waddle, Stephon, Rasheed. It's pretty good. So I haven't went wide receiver heavy with AJ Brown. That was pretty good. Debo is now going at the 1-2 turn. I took a Debo Cup team. If for some reason Debo outdoes expectations and Puka does not, and Puka is not as good as we think Puka will be, and Cup plays very well, I think a Debo Cup start is very interesting. Cup is also having a very good camp, and I like very good camp news. But because of the Debo rise and the Puka fall, the drafters in the back half I think are very interesting, and it evens out the playing field a lot. I can go Kyren here. I can go Nico here. Nico's been my favorite click here. If I'm purely drafting off Maya rankings, it would be the Nico Collins click. And hopefully Kyren falls back to me. But they're back to back in my rankings. I have Evans there at 19. I think Evans is clearly ahead of a lot of these other wide receivers like a Metcalf, Moore. They're going to be a hot team, I believe, coming out of the gate. The Buccaneers will be coming off a really good season. High hopes for this next season. They could be a team that gets 10 to 12 wins, and the NFL would be shocked that it happens. I can see it happening though. Baker's not a great quarterback, but he's efficient. Evans is a really good wide receiver. Godwin is feeling good this year. And McMillians is playing pretty well in camp as well. Neighbors goes. DK goes. They're drafting right off my rankings. Kyron's the fall to me. If not, it might be Pittman. I do have Nico with a week 14. Kyron falls to me. Usually when I'm dealing with the Kyron Nico teams, the decision between Kyron and Nico, it's always Nico because I think Kyron can fall back to me in the third round. Him falling to me at 31, it's quite a bit of a fall in this draft, but I think it's nice. Let's see what this Garrett Wilson Puka Nakua drafter picks up. He does Pittman, which is another good pick, especially now with the Josh Downs news. Pittman is a very vanilla wide receiver. I think he's like Evans. He gets looked over quite a bit. I think that's the way Rome Odunze is going to be looked at this year as well. This will probably be I want to see what I have. Kyren and Nico. So I don't have many builds with those two. Thought I had more builds with those two. Terry should fall to me. I usually go by the badges. There's 4 badges in back of me. In front of me, I should say. Allen goes. I probably want Hurts. I'll take the elite quarterback in Hurts. I'll probably get a Jake Ferguson bring back. Could even get Kittle here. I think Andrews is just a fine click at tight end by himself without Lamar. I think they're both fine clicks without each other. Terry McLaurin is the clear click, in my opinion. But I do have Nico with the week 14 bye, and I don't like stacking bye weeks. Hurts. Teams I have with Hurts. I have a Dak team. I have a Purdy team. Daniels team. Dak team. Caleb team. I like to get 3 different games now at quarterback. Terry is still on the board for me. If I go Trey McBride, I do have Kyler Murray to grab. McBride goes. McBride kind of fell in this one. Well, no. The guy at the 1 hole getting his guys. Going Jalen Hurts is always tricky in the 4th round. I think it's a bit steep for quarterbacks, elite quarterbacks. But with AJ Brown, I'm willing to risk the biscuit for that. I could go Terry. I don't go Godwin a lot. I don't mind Godwin here. I have Kyren. James Cook is an interesting take. I'm gonna do the God. I went Cook last minute. Terry won't fall. Terry goes. He needed a wide receiver, to be honest. I wanted James Cook. This guy goes double elite tight end in the 8th, 9th, I mean. The guy at the 10 is looking nice. So this is a totally get your guys sort of team. Should I get Jake Fergie here, or should I load up in the middle rounds and get Fergie is probably the click here. JSN Addison probably on the board for me later on. I have Ferguson ranked at 61. His ADP is 84. I might lose him, but he might come back. I want Deontay Moore. So we have Hurts, Kyron, Cook, AJ Brown, Nico Collins, Deontay Johnson. Tight end we're lacking. We could skip on Ferguson, if I'm being completely honest. Grab just like 3 tight ends later. Don't like doing that. We do have 2 really strong running backs here. Evan Ingram goes, which means we might be sniped on Jake Ferguson. They usually go not too far away from each other. I could lock up CJ if I really wanted to. I think he has a big upside. CJ goes, BTJ goes. JSN goes. I was thinking about JSN right there at the last minute. I went Ferguson. We got a starting lineup for this one. No overlapping bye weeks except AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, which is nice. We can throw on the Jaden Daniels. We are going to throw on Addison, most likely in this one. If he falls, Mike Williams is a click in this one as well. I was thinking about JMO. We could stop at Brock Bowers or Dallas Goddard. I don't think Goddard is elite. I think he still should be going a little bit later. JSN or Addison here would be nice. Awesome. Trying to get my Javonte Williams exposure up. Brian Robinson is another interesting clip. I'm thinking we are going to take McCarthy. And possibly Baker. Jared Goof. Same bye week. If we grab Brooks, we can grab Bryce. Fully loaded, no tight ends, no quarterbacks. This guy on the clock, no quarterbacks. This guy, no tight end, no quarterback. Might be able to get a running back here. Brooks goes. Brian Robinson is probably the click. Dallas Goddard. Usually they gift Goddard. They take Jaden. I'll take Brian Robinson. Listed as co-starter with Eckler. Which is not great. Taking lots of Robinson, not a lot of Eckler. %, Robinson. Eckler, 5%. Should have taken Jaden Daniels. If he falls to me, I'll take him. Don't think he will. JSN is, Tyler Lockett falling like a rock. I said I was going to click more Algier. Quorum is there too still. Daniels goes. Rico is definitely on the board here for me. Pollard goes. I'll grab Goddard. Don't like a triple stack. Like my skinny stacks. Usually tight end goes off in an Eagles Cowboys game. Not freaking out entirely in this one. Have Baker. I have Bryce. I have McCarthy in my back pockets. I think Rico is the click if he falls. These quarterbacks are going a bit higher. Just something I do not like. I like where they go. Javonte goes. Chubb goes. Just clicking lots of Chubb early. Judy goes. Spears goes. Might lock up Williams if Rico goes instead of Corum. Tua goes. I'm going to grab Rico. I'm at 4 running backs. My 5th one probably will be Khalil Herbert. Could grab Ty Chandler, Bucky Irving, Jaleel McLaurin. Mike Williams goes in back of me. That means Gabe Davis and Josh Allen are always the fallback. I mean Josh Downs. I'm thinking we will do a 3-5-7-2. We could go 3, 4, 8, 2. Downs goes. That was not nice. Davis goes. Worse. Feel a lot worse when those two guys go and I don't have a fifth wide receiver. Oh, Jahan Dotson goes right in front of me. I'm going to lock out Baker. Nobody with him right now. Should have grabbed Jalen McMillans. Irving is the only guy left if McMillians goes. Just not great. Algier goes. So this one we are very much going to look at after this draft. Kind of unusual what had occurred here. Charbonnet is dropping a lot. I probably will drop him in my rankings. Not talking him up a lot is kind of shocking. We might go him if he is available later. Don't have big stacks on that game in this one. Adam Thielen goes. Ty Chandler. Musgrave. Sharbs. Lloyd. Awesome. McMillians on my team as the fifth wide receiver. Not great. Not great at all. I think it was I just got unlucky with the Rico click. They were more piss boys though down there. You should have known that. Might stop with Irving here. Mario Douglas could be a play. Green Bay, Seattle, Chicago. Tolbert, he's decent. McCaffrey, I like that. Jermaine. I think I'm gonna get Douglas here if I can. Feels a little bit better now that I got Douglas. Don't like the Patriots clicks at all. I might hold at the 2 quarterback and just go 7 or 8 wide receiver. I have how many picks left? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 picks left. Okay. Not horrible. I could do 1-1-1. Wide receivers just went higher than I thought they were going to be. Bucky Irving goes. Will Shipley. Tracy. Kendre. Votto. I think Yoshi will play more. Kind of want to lock up Khalil Herbert. I already have a week 7 bye, though. I'm going to grab Yoshi Voss. The guy with Jefferson has 3 quarterbacks. I can push McCarthy if I wanted. Herbert goes. Shining in camp. Well, please shine on this team. Jalen Tolbert. Next click, I'm thinking McCarthy. Last click, I'm thinking Kendre. AJ Brown, Nico Collins, Johnson. This team is definitely not winning anything. You can already see. If it does, a lot fell my way. Juwan Jennings, and get your guy. Peace. Marvin Mims goes 2 picks behind Troy Franklin. Deneric Prince or Damian Prince or something like that. Deneric. Luke McCaffrey is off the board. McCarthy set for significant action Saturday. Better not hurt the guy. Better not hurt the guy. Kendre goes off before I grab McCarthy. Tracy's off. Bryce Young off after Drake May. I'm going to take another Eagles guy in this one. Running back. I'll call it a day. We did a 3-5-8-2 build. We went with Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, J.J. McCarthy. We grabbed Kyren Williams, James Cook, Brian Robinson Jr., Rico Dowdle, Will Shipley. Upside plays with Rico Dowdle, Will Shipley. Strong 3 wide receivers. We went A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, Deontay Johnson, Jordan Addison, Jalen McMillian, Demario Douglas, Andre Yoshivas, Jalen Tolbert, and my tight ends, Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert. We will recap what we did right and what we did wrong in that draft. Let's see. It was a poodle. View full draft. 2,951 projected points. Isn't too bad. I kind of like that number high. It's a good number. Actually higher than some of those other numbers that I see sometimes. AJ Brown, Nico Collins, Kendry, Kyren Williams, Jalen Hurts, James Cook, Terry McLaurin over James Cook, probably the play, especially on this team. Didn't know how deep I was going to go in those stacks. And I could have grabbed Walker or another running back later on. Jake Ferguson was okay. Addison was good. Brian Robinson was pretty good. Dallas Goedert. It's an okay click. Probably Robinson or Goddard should have been Jaden Daniels. Rico Dowdle. So this 9, 10, 11 spot is where I kind of didn't like and had to catch up. Just got kind of unlucky after those. Didn't have any fallers to me. Rico Daniel, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Millions. I had to grab Demario Douglas for help. Yoshi Voss, Jalen Tolbert, a click I don't click often. JJ McCarthy and Will Shipley. Shipley I was really liked down in the 18th. McCarthy in the 17th. Between 9 and 16 is really where I played catch up. 11 through 17, 16 is really where I had to buckle down on wide receiver. Because I couldn't grab or I didn't decide to grab someone in 9 through 11, I really like going a wide receiver in the first in 3 clicks, at least in every 3 clicks. So I went AJ Brown, Nico Collins, Kyron Williams. So if we drop to the 4th, we still have Nico Collins. If we drop to the 5th, we messed up a little bit there. Also, the James Cook click, like I said, should have been a wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, going down to the 6th. If we would have went Terry McLaurin, I would have been fine with the running back there. We went Deontay Johnson. We went Jake Ferguson. Jordan Addison. Going down to here, 9 through 11. Running back, tight end. Something that you don't really like seeing a lot. Then I went 4 rounds actually with the pickup of Baker. Glad Jalen McMillan fell to me at pick 151. Then I really had to pick it up with Douglas, like I said, Yoshi, Tolbert, ended it with a quarterback and a running back. In terms of the structure, 3 tight end, no overlapping by, like that. 5 running backs, no overlapping buys, like that. 4 starters at wide receiver, no overlapping buy, I like that. We had to grab 11, 14, 12, and 7. 2 of those starters had overlapping buys. It's fine. And the tight ends, really like to go 3 tight ends if at all possible, even with an elite tight end. So only 2 tight ends in the middle rounds is not great. That draft wasn't horrible. I'm going to name this one Eagles Stack. Eagle Stacks. I'm probably going to hop in a marathon or a BBM later on tonight. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm still on the clock, no picks left. My rankings you guys got to see. We didn't go in depth too much in them. In terms of my exposures, nothing really has changed. I showed you the guys earlier that I want to grab more of. If I click Eagles, yeah, nothing will pop up. But I'm pretty okay. This is something new that I haven't seen. Playoff stacks. I'm really stacked in this Chicago versus Seattle game. So if that one doesn't go well, not doing great. I know I'm not stacked at a lot of Chargers, New England. So if that one goes well, I know I am not great in that one. Vegas, New Orleans. I know I'm not stacked in that one as well. This one, Cleveland, Miami. Most common stack is Watson and Joku on the right, and I don't think I've clicked that much at all. Most stack here is Derek Carr, Miller, Mayer. Most stack for the Chargers, New England, May, Dobbins, Henry. Click a lot of Dobbins. Mo Detroit, San Francisco. Most common Purdy, Pearson, Gibbs. Don't remember clicking that early in the year. Yeah. With the Pearsall, most common stack with Green Bay, Minnesota. I need more Green Bay. Reed, Love, Jefferson. I like that. We have Atlanta, Washington, most common stack. Daniels, Eckler, Mooney. Don't really know that one too well. Most common stack for Jacksonville, Tennessee is Pollard, Christian Kirk, Lawrence. Don't got that one either. Most common stack for KC, Pittsburgh is Russell Wilson and Clyde Edwards Eclair or Roman Wilson, Russell Wilson. Don't got that one. Dallas stack with Philly, Hurts, Brown, Dak. Got that, which is nice, but why would you need Dak and Hurts? Both. Most common stack Buffalo, New York Jets, Allen, Shakir, Corley. Weird, okay. Most common stack Carolina, Tampa, Bryce, Brooks, Bucky. Interesting. Arizona and the Rams, the Cardinals and Rams. My most common stack Cup, Stafford, Connor. I like to see that one. Most common stack with Indy and New York Giants. Daniel Jones, Neighbors, and Richardson. I like that. Baltimore, Houston, Lamar, um, Keaton Mitchell, and Nico Collins. That looks good. Cincinnati, Denver, Burrow, T. Jameson. Okay, and most common stack at 27.7%. Caleb Khalil Walker. Getting that a lot more, which is nice. Stack frequency 6%. This is very interesting, this chart. Let it see. That's week 17. Week 16 are more diverse. Caleb Rome Gibbs. Kyron, Garrett Wilson, Rodgers, Daniels, Millions, Hurts, Daniels, Jones, Geno, Sharps, Jones, CJ, Nico, Rice. I gotta more prioritize my stacks. But I think my builds are pretty nice, to be honest. Neighbors, Lamar, I like that. Bryce, Chuba. AJ Barner? Weird. If this thing is right, then it's kind of weird. Trevor, Gabe Davis, Garrett Wilson. I have a lot of that. What I have the most of. Let's see. That's Richardson, Downs, McLaurin, Cup, Kittle. Interesting stuff. Position by round. Interesting. So round 1, I am 0.8% QB. That's probably from my. I know I said I was going to go, but this is very interesting that I'm looking at right now. Round 1, very interesting. I usually do a wide receiver, which is very true. 30% running back, 70% wide receiver. I'm probably up to 80-20 now. It's mostly wide receiver though. Rounds 2, I usually stick to the same thing. Round 3, more thinking about running back, which is kind of interesting that this is different. That I'm thinking. Round 4, unless this is not mine, this is everyone else's. Round 4, people are really grabbing their quarterbacks and tight ends. Round 5, wide receiver. Round 6, wide receiver. 7, running backs more. 8, it's running backs. 9, running backs. 10, running backs. 11, running backs. 12, running backs. 13, running backs. 14, wide receiver. 15, wide receiver. 16, quarterback, tight end. Okay. Interesting stuff there. Nobody doesn't like the round 11 quarterbacks for some reason. Nobody likes the round 9 tight ends. Interesting. Targeted teams. New Orleans, player 1, 13%. Everyone else, 0. New England, player 1, 14%. Everyone else, 0. Philly, first player 11%. Second player 5%. This is very interesting stuff. Seattle, more diverse. Carolina, Chicago, Washington. I have the Rams that high, really? Giants like that. Cleveland okay. Jets. Denver. Jacksonville, yeah, that one's high. Arizona. Cincinnati. Pittsburgh. Baltimore. Green Bay in the middle of the pack, not bad. Detroit. Dallas. Buffalo. Probably need more Buffalo. More KC. More Houston. Houston, I'm more lean heavy in the Nico. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. My modified are B's. Why isn't it reading it? My 0 RBs. 5 different starters, which is nice. Did 2 Puka builds. Warren, Moss, White, Connor. Hero RBs. Bijan, Gibbs, CMC, Kyron, Cook, Pacheco, Kyron, Bijan, Brees, Pacheco, Achan. What is this one? Starters: Jaden Daniels, Saquon, Zeke, Chubb, Chuba, Roshan, Khalil. I remember doing that. Jefferson, DK, Terry, Rome, Watson. It's alright. Very Kyron heavy in the hero RBs. Modified double anchor. Checo, JT, Brees, Saquon, Gibbs, Cook. My only Kamara share right there. My only probably Derrick Henry share. That seemed look gross. ETN. That seems probably done. Shot of White. He looks nasty too, shit. Achan. He looks pretty good. Doing really well these last couple weeks, I think. Modified double anchor, and modified. I think my favorite is double anchor with Kyron and like Cook, Kyron, and Walker. I'll lean into Hero a couple times too. Very fun stuff. Very fun stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.